6 supplements that are not worth taking. The fitness industry grows impressively each year, and with that growth comes an endless arsenal of products promising the body of your dreams. Every week, it seems a new miracle solution hits the market, promising extraordinary results. And of course, companies make billions from this. They want to convince you that, without certain supplements, you'll never reach your goals, whether gaining muscle, losing fat, or improving performance. But let's be honest. As in any market sector, many of these products are completely dispensable and represent a true waste of your hard-earned money. So today, you'll see the 6 worst supplements that definitely aren't worth it, and why you should keep your wallet tightly closed when encountering them. But before we begin, tell me in the comments your name and how long you've been training. Supplement number 6, multivitamins. Who hasn't been seduced by the promise of meeting all nutritional needs with a single magic pill? Multivitamins are marketed as a kind of nutritional insurance, but the truth is much less impressive. In the vast majority of cases, these generic complexes simply don't deliver what they promise. First, these formulas often contain nutrients in poorly calculated amounts. Think about it. How could the same formula equally serve the needs of a 25-year-old man who trains intensely, a sedentary 40-year-old woman, and a 70-year-old senior? It's impossible. What happens is, you end up consuming some nutrients in excess and others in insufficient quantities. Another serious problem that few talk about is competition between nutrients. When you ingest various minerals and vitamins simultaneously, many compete for the same absorption receptors in the intestine. For example, zinc, calcium, iron, and magnesium fight among themselves, resulting in much lower absorption than if they were consumed separately. Therefore, the correct approach is to get tests done, which will indicate if you have specific deficiencies, and only then supplement what is truly lacking. Your body and your bank account will thank you. Supplement 5, Pre-Workout. I'll be direct. When you analyze the composition of these products, you discover that the main active ingredient is almost always caffeine, something you can obtain for a fraction of the price with a simple coffee. The industry is extremely clever at creating the illusion of value. They add an impressive list of ingredients with scientific names to justify the high price, but when you look at the dosages, the story completely changes. Beta-alanine, for example, which causes that tingling sensation on the skin, would need at least 3 to 4 grams daily to have any real effect on performance. But most pre-workouts contain only 1 to 2 grams, enough for you to feel the tingling and believe it's working, but insufficient for any real benefit. The same happens with citrulline malate, which would need 6 to 8 grams to effectively increase blood flow, but generally appears in doses of 2 to 3 grams in commercial products. And unlike the sellers, we can't deny the risks. Many pre-workouts contain stimulants in alarming quantities, potentially causing anxiety, insomnia, increased blood pressure, and even cardiac arrhythmias. Not to mention that frequent use leads to tolerance. You'll need increasingly larger doses to feel the same effect, entering a dangerous cycle. If you really feel you need a stimulus before training, try black coffee 30 minutes before, or buy the ingredients separately in the correct dosages. You'll save a lot of money and have absolute control over what you're consuming. Supplement 4, BCAA. BCAAs are perhaps the most classic example of marketing winning over science. These supplements are sold as the definitive solution for preserving muscle mass, improving recovery, and even increasing protein synthesis. But the reality is quite different. If you already consume enough protein in your diet, BCAAs are completely redundant. This is because any complete protein source, such as meats, eggs, dairy, or even whey protein, already contains all the BCAAs you need, and in quantities superior to those found in these supplements. To put it in perspective, a single scoop of whey protein naturally provides approximately 5 to 6 grams of BCAAs. Meanwhile, a typical BCAA supplement offers an average of 5 grams in total for a much higher price. It's literally throwing money away. Another important point: isolated BCAAs are not superior to BCAAs obtained through complete proteins. In fact, recent research suggests that the body utilizes amino acids better when consumed in the context of a complete protein, which contains all essential amino acids in balanced proportions. And there's more. Some studies indicate that isolated BCAA consumption may even be counterproductive in certain contexts. Without the other essential amino acids, the protein synthesis process may be limited, creating an imbalance in the pool of available amino acids. The only situation where BCAAs might have some utility would be for strict vegans who have difficulty meeting their total protein needs. Even then, there are much more efficient alternatives, such as complete plant proteins. Supplement 3. Iron. Iron supplementation is a classic case where more doesn't always mean better. Unlike women of childbearing age who regularly lose iron during the menstrual cycle, men tend to maintain stable reserves of this mineral throughout life. The human body doesn't possess an efficient mechanism to eliminate excess iron. While other minerals can be easily excreted when in excess, iron accumulates in tissues, potentially causing a condition called hemochromatosis. And the effects of this are frightening. Excess iron can be deposited in vital organs such as the liver, pancreas, and heart, causing irreversible damage. In the liver, it can lead to cirrhosis and increase the risk of liver cancer. In the pancreas, it can compromise insulin production, raising the risk of type 2 diabetes. In the heart, it can cause cardiomyopathy and heart failure. It's no wonder epidemiological studies show that men with elevated iron levels have a higher risk of cardiovascular diseases. Another risk of self-medicating with iron is masking underlying problems. Unexplained anemia may be a sign of chronic blood loss, possibly related to gastric ulcers or even cancer in the gastrointestinal tract. By supplementing iron without investigating the cause of the deficiency, you might be delaying the diagnosis of potentially serious conditions. If you suspect iron deficiency, the correct approach is to get a complete examination, including a blood count, serum ferritin, and transferrin saturation. Only then, with medical guidance, consider supplementation. For most people, a balanced diet with lean red meats, beans, and dark green leafy vegetables is more than sufficient. Supplement 2. Glutamine. Glutamine is often presented as an essential supplement for those who train intensely. The argument seems convincing. Being the most abundant amino acid in muscle, its supplementation should accelerate recovery and prevent muscle catabolism. However, the human body already naturally produces large quantities of glutamine, approximately 50 to 80 grams per day under normal conditions. This endogenous production is more than sufficient to meet the needs of a healthy person, even during periods of intense training. Study after study has demonstrated that glutamine supplementation offers no significant benefits for muscle mass gain, strength, or recovery in healthy individuals. It's true that glutamine plays important roles in the body. It serves as fuel for immune system and intestinal cells, helps in ammonia detoxification, and contributes to acid-base balance. However, research shows that in healthy people, supplementation doesn't improve these functions beyond what the body already does naturally. There's confusion between glutamine's role in clinical situations and in the fitness context. In hospitalized patients with severe burns or after surgeries, glutamine may be beneficial because in these extreme situations, the body can't produce sufficient quantities. But transposing these results to healthy people who merely practice weight training is a serious conceptual error. Supplement 1. Calcium. Calcium is indisputably essential for bone health and various cellular functions. However, indiscriminate supplementation of this mineral, especially in tablet form, may bring more risks than benefits for most people. A balanced diet already provides significant quantities of calcium. Dairy products, dark green leafy vegetables, sardines with bones, tofu, and even some mineral waters are excellent sources. Calcium obtained through these foods is absorbed gradually and regulated by the organism, reducing the risks of excess. The problem with supplementation is that it can create abrupt spikes of calcium in the blood, overloading the natural regulation mechanisms. An alarming study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association revealed that people who used calcium supplements for more than 10 years showed a higher risk of arterial calcification, basically calcium depositing in artery walls, increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. This is a perfect example of how supplementing an isolated nutrient can trigger imbalances. Calcium doesn't work alone in the organism. It needs cofactors like vitamins D3 and K2 to be properly directed to bones and teeth, and not to soft tissues or arteries. Most calcium supplements don't contain these essential cofactors. If you have specific concerns about bone health, a smarter approach would be to optimize your vitamin D levels, which improves calcium absorption, practice impact and resistance exercises, which stimulate bone formation, and consume a variety of foods rich in calcium and its cofactors. After unmasking these overestimated supplements, you must be wondering if there are any that actually work. The The answer is yes. There are 3 that truly deserve your investment. Number 1, creatine. If there's a supplement that deserves the gold title in the fitness world, that supplement is creatine. Unlike many others, creatine has hundreds of studies proving its efficacy and safety, probably being the most researched supplement in the history of sports nutrition. Creatine is a substance that occurs naturally in the human body and is also found in foods like red meats and fish. However, the amount we naturally produce, added to what we get from food, is rarely sufficient. That's where supplementation comes in. When you supplement with creatine, it increases phosphocreatine levels in the muscle, improving its capacity to regenerate ATP, the immediate fuel for intense muscle contractions. In practice, this translates to increased strength, power, and capacity to perform additional repetitions during training. Studies show gains of 5 to 15% in maximum strength and an increase of 1 to 2 kilograms of muscle mass in the first weeks. And the best part, unlike what many myths suggest, creatine doesn't cause kidney damage in healthy people, nor does it cause hair loss when consumed in recommended doses. It's one of the safest supplements available, with decades of use and research proving its safety. Cost benefit is another strong point. A container of creatine lasts months and costs relatively little compared to other supplements. If you could choose only one supplement to invest in, without doubt, creatine would be the most intelligent choice. Number 2, omega-3. Omega-3 is another supplement that really delivers what it promises, with benefits that go far beyond physical performance, reaching practically all body systems. These essential fatty acids, mainly EPA and DHA, are structural components of cell membranes and precursors of molecules that regulate various physiological processes. Although we can obtain omega-3 through foods like fatty fish, such as salmon, sardines, and tuna, the truth is that most people consume insufficient quantities. Our modern diet tends to be disproportionately rich in omega-6 and poor in omega-3, creating an imbalance that favors inflammatory processes in the organism. In the cardiovascular system, omega-3 works as a true protector. Robust studies demonstrate its capacity to reduce triglycerides, improve endothelial function, and decrease inflammatory markers associated with heart diseases. For athletes, this means better blood flow and more efficient recovery. In the brain, DHA is a structural component of neural tissue cell membranes, comprising about 40% of polyunsaturated fatty acids in the brain. It's no wonder studies associate adequate levels of omega-3 with better cognitive function, lower risk of depression, and even reduction of age-related cognitive decline. In the specific context of training, omega-3 seems to reduce delayed onset muscle soreness and accelerate recovery after intense exercises, probably due to its anti-inflammatory effects. There's also evidence that it can improve insulin sensitivity and favor body composition, increasing metabolic efficiency. When choosing a supplement, opt for products that specify the exact quantities of EPA and DHA, preferably in a 2-to-1 ratio, and that undergo purification processes to remove contaminants like mercury and PCBs. Number 3, vitamin D. Vitamin D deserves special highlight among truly valuable supplements, as we currently face a silent epidemic of deficiency. Although technically a hormone and not a vitamin, this substance plays crucial roles in practically all body systems. Our main source of vitamin D should be cutaneous synthesis, stimulated by sun exposure. However, modern lifestyle, work in enclosed environments, sunscreen use, and geographical location are factors that drastically limit this natural production. Recent studies estimate that more than 40% of the world population presents insufficient levels of vitamin D. For weightlifters and athletes, vitamin D is directly involved in muscle function, influencing both strength and recovery. Research shows that athletes with optimal vitamin D levels present better performance in power tests, faster recovery, and lower incidence of injuries compared to those with low levels. In the immune system, vitamin D acts as a potent modulator, helping to balance immune responses. This is crucial for athletes, as intense training can temporarily suppress immunity, increasing susceptibility to upper respiratory tract infections, that inconvenient cold that disrupts weeks of training. Additionally, vitamin D works in synergy with calcium and magnesium to maintain bone health. Unlike isolated calcium supplementation, which we mentioned earlier as problematic, vitamin D ensures that calcium is properly directed to bones and teeth and not to soft tissues or arteries. Bonus, whey protein. I left whey protein as a bonus because, unlike the previous supplements, its necessity is relative. Despite the fact that almost everyone who trains seems to take it by obligation, the fact is that whey doesn't do anything magical. It's simply a concentrated source of high-quality protein derived from milk. If you can already reach your daily protein needs through food, whey becomes dispensable. Its main benefit is practicality. In a few seconds, you can prepare a portion containing 20 to 25 grams of complete protein, with an excellent amino acid profile and high digestibility. For people with busy routines, who eat meals away from home or have difficulty reaching their protein goals with food alone, whey is a practical and efficient solution. Another positive point is its rapid absorption, which makes it particularly useful in the post-workout period, when the body is more receptive to protein synthesis. However, it's important to demystify the anabolic window. Although there is an increase in protein sensitivity after training, you won't lose your gains if you don't consume protein immediately. The daily total remains the most important factor. In summary, if your diet is already adequate in proteins and you have time to prepare meals, whey is dispensable. But if you value convenience, have a busy routine, or difficulty reaching your protein goals with foods, whey protein can be a valuable ally in your fitness journey. However, there are some common mistakes that people who take whey protein make, which unfortunately throw the efficiency of this good supplement in the trash. If you want to know what they are, we left a video appearing right now on the screen, showing and better explaining each of them. Thank you for watching until here, and may God bless you, my friend.